This video is for artificial lash application, and we are going to start this video as if we have just arrived to work. So we are going to wash our hands. We're going to wet our hands at the sink, find that liquid hand soap, and get about a coin size of it, washing our hands down to our wrists. We're going to wash the back of our hands down to our wrists. We're going to wash our fingers, and we are going to wash the backs of our fingers. We're going to wash our fingertips and nails. We are going to wash between our fingers and between our fingers and our thumbs. We're going to wash our thumbs. We're going to wash our wrists. We're going to do all of that wash for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. And then we're going to thoroughly and properly rinse our hands under the water. We will grab either disposable paper towels or a clean towel to turn the faucet off. We're going to dry our hands off with the towels, trashing the paper towels or putting the dirty towel now in a closed container until time for laundry. We're going to get our 70% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer, and we're going to sanitize our hands. And once we get everything nice and sanitized, we're going to prepare our room because the client will be coming, and we want to set everything up so we can have it all ready before she arrives. So let's talk about preparing the room. We want to disinfect our workstation, bed, and equipment using a disinfectant wipe and following manufacturer's instructions. We're going to dispense products needed for the service. We're going to prepare disposable portion cups for each product with a portion of the product by opening the top of the container and ensuring the tip of the nozzle does not come into contact with the disposable portion cup tray, or remove the product with a disinfected or clean single-use spatula. We'll close the lid to the product and set the portion cup tray on the tray. We'll place disposable table paper on the disinfected bed. And I don't have disposable table paper, so what I'm using is I would treat this as if I would use my clean sheets, and use a fitted sheet and a flat sheet. And you can do a clean blanket if you want, and then you're going to have the towel that's horizontal across the top of the bed, which is what I've done. So you would prepare your room accordingly. And let's just look at the tray that I have ready for my client who's coming for artificial lash application. So of course I have the 2x2s, I have some cotton rounds and 4x4s. I've got my makeup remover, water, I just always have water. I've got my strip lashes and my lash glue, of course. I've got my wooden stick, Q-tips that I apply the glue with, or if I need any kind of cleanup, tweezers and small scissors, gloves because this is a glove service always, and then I've got some disposable mascara wands because we're going to be combing out her lash area after we cleanse the eye. So just giving it a second here, we're going to put it back, and then when our client arrives, we're going to be able to go straight to that client consultation, and if everything's okay, be able to perform the service without causing your client some lag time or some wait time. So let's go over what we would do for that client consult. And just a quick note that I say in every video, I wash my hands, clean my hands as soon as I got to work. Of course, I would always do the same process to greet a client. So I'm always going to greet the client with clean hands. I'm also going to be cleaning my hands again before we start the service. So just noting that as I approach my client, I already have clean hands. So let's talk about our client consultation. So we're going to greet our client and escort them to the work area. We'll assess the client's current style and determine the client's preferences. We're going to assess the client's needs. We will assess the client's skin by performing a skin analysis to ensure that there is no inflamed, infected, broken, raised, or swollen skin in the area to be worked on, or an open wound or sore in the area to be worked on, infection or infestation, for example, lice, to prevent from safely performing the service. We will assess the client's consultation form for any medications and products used within the last 72 hours. We'll consult on any known allergies. We'll consult with the client on any facial surgeries within the last 3 months, and if the client's under a physician's care. We'll assess if the client is prone to cold sores or fever blisters. We'll assess if the client has used exfoliating or lightening agents within the last 72 hours, like alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids, hydroquinone, etc. We'll assess facial injections within the last 3 weeks, like Botox or hyaluronic fillers, if the client is free from the above contraindications, we can move forward with the procedure, which she is. Betty is just good to go. So we are able to do the service today, which is great. So let's get her comfortable, and then I'll wash my hands again before we start the service. So she doesn't have to disrobe. She can simply lay down on the facial bed. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to place a towel as her drape, and I'm going to cover everything up, clothes, skin, etc. So I want to make sure she's comfortable. And just in case, like anything was to spill, like makeup remover or lash glue or anything ridiculous like that, which hopefully would not happen, we want her to be completely covered. And then I'm going to put a headband on to keep the hair out of the way and out of the way of her lashes. Just keeping the hair out of the face. And then we are going to wash our hands. So I would go to the sink and I would wet my hands, get that coin-sized amount of liquid hand soap, wash my hands down to the wrist, wash the back of my hands down to the wrist. I'm gonna wash my fingers, and I'm gonna wash the back of my fingers. I'm gonna wash my fingertips and nails. I'm gonna wash between my fingers. I'm gonna wash between my fingers and my thumbs. I'm gonna wash my thumbs. I'm gonna wash my wrists. And I'm gonna do all of that wash and interlocking wash, all of this for a good 20 to 30 seconds, making sure everything is clean. And then I'm gonna rinse it under the sink, proper rinse. And when I feel everything's rinsed off, I'm gonna grab some disposable paper towels or a towel and turn off the faucet, dry my hands off, throw the paper towels in the trash, or the towel will now be dirty and it's gonna go in a closed container until laundry time. And then I'm gonna grab this 70% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer and thoroughly sanitize my hands. I'm gonna make sure they're good and dry because I have to put gloves on. So that's kind of a challenge when your hands are wet. And once your gloves are on, you can begin the service. So the first thing I'm gonna do is remove Betty's makeup. She is hosting one heck of a Halloween party, and she wants to look super special. So she is here and she likes to wear makeup, and so she's got a lot on. So I'm gonna make sure I get it off. And then once her strip lashes are on, she will then be able to go home, and she's gonna do a little bit of fun Halloween makeup. So she just wanted to add those strip lashes, and I think that's a fantastic idea. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna use those cotton rounds in your makeup, and you're gonna go ahead and remove. And this may take a couple passes, it may take a couple times depending on your client. You just wanna make sure that you get everything the way you want it. Everything's nice and dry. So let's go ahead and comb through those lashes. She's got a lot of gorgeous lashes, so we're just gonna make sure that we keep everything really smooth and combed out. So that way it'll be easier for us to line it up, our strip lash up with her lashes. Just combing through. Perfect. So when you grab your strip lashes in your little case that they come in and you open up your box, you will, if you've never done this before, you may not realize, you will be very happy to know that there is a right side and a left side. So if you were to hold it up, if you've just taken it out of the box, it is absolutely the way that you would apply it to a client. So the middle would be your, like where your nose is. This is the right eye, this is the left eye. I don't know if it's flipping it in the camera for you all, but just so you know. The inside of the nose area is the shortest side and the outside is the longest. So it's very easy if you're just looking at the lash set to know which one's going to be closest to the nose and which part is going to be farthest away from the nose. So when you pick up your lash to measure, which we're getting ready to do right now, I'm going to know immediately that this is the right eye and this is the left eye. So what I'm going to do is start with that side, and you're just simply going to remove the strip lash. You're not going to apply glue. You're not going to do anything other than that. You're going to hold it with your fingers and you're going to line it up with the client's lashes, and you're going to see if it's too long, too short, just right. This gives you a chance to measure that strip lash. So what I'm going to do is take it corner to corner. And amazingly, with our mannequin, it's just about near perfect. So what I'm going to do is actually pretend like it's not. I'm going to pretend like it's too long, which is very common. And I'm just going to take this little excess that's too long and show you that here on the camera. So I would grab my scissors and I would trim, and this I'm trimming from the outer edge, the longest part of the strip lash, and I'm going to trim on top of my fingers. So cutting that off, and then I would throw that in the trash. Not if I go underneath and try to cut that amount off, it's going to be too short. So make sure you trim off above the fingers. Then you can just toss that extra bit of lashes in the trash. Then you're going to flip the whole strip lash over so that you can apply the glue to the back side. So what you want to do then is grab your lash glue, and I'm going to take a little bit of lash glue on the end of one of my wooden stick Q-tips, and I am going to then apply it to the strip from the corner to the corner. I'm going to take it all the way down and along that strip lash, and I'm just going to make sure that I keep it nice and thin, no bubbles, no blobs. And then as I turn it over, I will grab my tweezers because I'm going to use my tweezers to hold my strip. And I usually hold it in about the middle, just so you know. And then as you place it in on your lash line, what you're going to do is you're going to place it in here and you're going to pick a side. So when you place it on the lash, as close to the lashes as you can, if you press in that inner corner first, which is fine, you can do the short side first, then you can start pressing to the outer edge. If you line it up perfectly and you see that it's already adhered to the outer edge, then work your way in. Either way, you get one of those corners solid and you work to press from that corner forward. And it's just perfect at that point. So I usually will like take my hand and blow above the lash with like a little wave there, so it just gives like a little breeze, or you could do a little fan just to make sure that you're getting that proper stick. And then I usually will also have the client open their eyes. The reason I do that is so that if there's any, so that if it feels okay and there's not any glue that's somewhere that's not supposed to be. And then you basically are going to repeat on the other side. So the first step is always measure. And remember, this is just done with fingers. So I'm going to hold it as close as I can to the lash line, and I'm going to see, is it too short, is it too long? Remember, this is pretty darn great, so we're just going to pretend like we did with the other side that it's just a little bit too long and that we need to trim some of the end off. So I'm going to take that off and just show you for pretensies. Well, imagine that this is the long side and then I have to trim that much off. So I'm going to grab my little scissors here and I would trim once again the top off above my fingers, throw that part away, and then flipping it over to apply the glue to the back side of my lash strip. So I'm getting that wooden stick Q-tip, I'm getting my glue because I'm going to put a little lash glue on the end of the stick, and then I'm going to paint it along the edge of the artificial lash strip, corner to corner, no bubbles and blobs. I'm just going to even them out if there is a bubble or blob. If I feel like there's a blob that I want to wipe off, I can use the other end, toss that in the trash. So we're going to flip it over with our fingers and grabbing our tweezers. We're getting the middle point there, and you can put it and then layer it up against the lashes. And if you want to start that inner press, start it there and then press on the way out. If you want to start the outer press, start there and press on the way in. A lot of people prefer into the nose, a lot of people prefer out on the outer corner. You find what you feel like you line things up best with, or what you feel like has stuck, then that way you can go from there, but it should be one of the corners. And once again, you can do your little breezy blow or your little fan blow, and you'll be able to go from there, and you let it, you do your good hold for however long you need to hold. And an artificial lash application is pretty quick. So I'm just going to show my client, oh my goodness, look at how gorgeous they look. And she's like, yes, I love it, and I'm ready for my Halloween party. So what happens at this point is you get to remove your gloves, disposable gloves, because that service is that quick. Like, you really just hustle through it, which is really nice. And once your gloves are off, and you've tossed them because they're a single-use item, you can help her up, and you can take off her headband, etc. You'll get her where she needs to be, and we can talk about what happens at this point. So you would go over maintenance and aftercare. These are single-use strips, so you can teach her how to take them off as she washes her face at the end of the night. You can also, some people want to keep them maybe and reuse them a time or two. You can review that with her if you think that that's an option. But these really are designed to be worn once and then thrown away. Maybe 2 or 3 more times. That's pretty much it. You will then go back to your room because you need to prepare for your next client. So any single-use items that need to be discarded, like your gloves, those wooden stick Q-tips, the mascara wands, all that stuff needs to go in the trash. And then you're going to get your implements. You did use some with your scissors and your tweezers. You would put them in a closed container labeled to be disinfected. You'll get your towels, etc., drape, anything you might have used there. It's going to go in that closed container until time of laundry. And then you've got to get a cleaning agent, identify that, read manufacturer's directions, follow manufacturer's directions for mixing and usage, wipe down your workstation and area with that cleaning solution to remove any debris. Then you need to identify a disinfectant that is bactericidal, virucidal, fungicidal, EPA approved for use in a salon setting. You would obviously need to grab some more disposable gloves for that. Put them on because you're going to need them. And you will follow manufacturer's directions for mixing and or using appropriate aerosol disinfectant. You will disinfect electrical equipment as well, stored in clean area, separate from other implements. Then you can remove gloves, and you need to wash your hands for the final step in this video. So you'll wet your hands at the sink. You will find that coin-sized liquid hand soap, and you're going to wash your hands down to the wrist. You're going to wash the back of your hands down to your wrist. You're going to wash your fingers, and you're going to wash the back of your fingers. You're going to wash your fingertips and your nails. You're going to wash between your fingers and your thumbs. You're going to wash your thumbs. You're going to wash your wrists, and you're going to do all of that proper wash and 20 to 30 seconds, and then you can rinse everything underneath the sink. When you feel like you've gotten everything nice and clean and rinsed off, you can grab disposable paper towels or a clean towel, turn off the faucet, dry your hands thoroughly. Those towels can go into, the paper towels can go in the trash if you use that. If it's a clean towel, it just goes in with the other dirty laundry. in a closed container until the laundry. Then get your hand sanitizer, 70% ethyl alcohol, and you're going to sanitize to finish up your service. And so now you're ready to go ahead and set up for your next client that's coming in. So this concludes your video for artificial lash application.